Handicapper Steve here, handicapping the racing from Oaklawn Park here on Saturday. It is the 29th of March, 2025. It's Arkansas Derby Day from Oaklawn. We're going to look at the Arkansas Derby and all the other stakes races on the program. But before I get on to that, remember, please follow me on Twitter at Horse Racing Kid 5 for more selections for race courses around the world, and I mean it around the world. Remember to go check out my Florida Derby Day preview from Gulfstream. It's an excellent card over there also. Today's card from Oaklawn also is good, so we're going to look at the stakes races here locally in this one. Races 6, 8, 10, 11, 12, and the feature 13th race, the Arkansas Derby. Let's get to it right now. The sixth race from Oaklawn. It is the Matron Stakes. It's going for a $250,000 purse race for fillies and mares, 4-year-olds and upwards. Field of six horses going 1,200 meters or 6 furlongs in the Matron. I'm going to take the force, Almost Gone Rocket. We're going to go 4-1-5-6 in the superfecta. 4-1-5-6 super. Top section four is Almost Gone Rocket. This 4-year-old filly by Into the Mischief. Brad Cox trains. Flavian Pratt picks up the mount. They ran the horse most recently in the Jersey Girl at Saratoga, 6 furlongs, 6th of June, and she was like a rocket that day, winning by 6 lengths on the front, and she kept going even after not the best beginnings. She took off clear, 99 bar, very impressive race. Coming here off the bench to Oaklawn, Brad Cox, very good numbers off the bench at 39%. I think this horse could find the trip to win. She ran two back in option 100 at Churchill, 6.5 on the slop Derby weekend, where she won by 4.5 lengths. And again, she stalked it all the way around the race course. And again, she just kept going a very, very good race. And then on debut here in early April last year at Oaklawn, 6 furlongs in the main special weight, winning by nearly a dozen that day. Again, in hand away. Coming here training well paced in Florida. She's a very, very likely winner. I think the winner has been a Benedetta set for Jose Ortiz and Steve Asmussen. Was one or two back in the American Beauty over the six on this track, where she won from a tracking trip. Last time actually a little traffic, but she was really gaining in the carousel. Picture this race Almost Gone Rocket, basically rocking on the front end. It's going to be the final 16th of the mile that we're going to really see if she's 100% cranked to win. If she's not 100% cranked to win, I think Benedetta is going to be there to pick up some pieces. It's going to be close to the wire. We'll give this horse on the ticket if she catches Almost Gone Rocket late, but this is going to be a good one here. Sorry, I got my selection for the six from Oaklawn. It is a Matron Stakes. Going to take the fours, Almost Gone Rocket. Give kudos to the one horse Benedetta, or Benedetta. There we go. I'm going to go 4-1-5-6 super, 4-1 in the multi race. Heading over to the eighth race now from Oaklawn, which is the Oaklawn Mile. It's a grade 3 event going for a $500,000 purse race for 4-year-olds and upwards. 8 horses going 1,600 meters over the mile trip in the Oaklawn Mile. Gonna go with the one horse, the Wine Stewart, has a top selection, 1-8-3-6 super, 1-8-3-6 super, top selection, one horse, the Wine Stewart, the 4-year-old colt by Vino Rosa. Mike Maker trains, Jose Ortiz gets the mount, ran the horse, first time older horses in the fifth season here at Oaklawn, a mile on the 25th of January, winning by a neck from a tracking trip. She was dueling on the front and lane, but he held on to it. A very good, gritty performance. Only carrying 150 pounds that day, also carrying 124, which is 9 more pounds into this run, getting Jose up. I think this horse can really improve off that run. Really nicely done, 96 buyer. It was his first start since Belmont Derby, Belmont Stakes at Saratoga Mountain Quarter on the 8th of June. And he gets ninth by 21 and 3/4 lengths that day, and he just had nothing. Absolutely piss poor performance. He beat one horse home. That wasn't a recipe for success that day. And then the Peter Pan and Aqueduct, a mile and 8th in mid-May, finishing second by 3/4 length. He stalked, and Aquarium caught him at the wire when this horse had the lead, and he just really couldn't catch Antiquarium. He just freaked that day. And then prior to that in the Lexington, Lost to Encino really freaked. Again, this horse just kind of got overtaken late. He probably needed the race also off the bench. And then the Breeders' Futurity, first time against Open Company at Keeneland back in as a 2-year-old in the fall of 23. Decent place behind lock that day. And again, he was gaining that day. He's been the bridesmaid, not the bride a few times, but I liked his 4-year-old debut here. He's training well at Churchill since his last race and at Gulfstream. I'm going to give him a shot here shipping to Oaklawn. I think the outside gate, the 8-horse Santa Crowns, your the second likeliest winner. Problem with him is if he gets an easy lead, he's going to go away with it. When he gets pace pressure like he did in the Pegasus, like he got in the Saudi Cup, or like he got in the Godolphin Mile, That's where he just doesn't really show up. But if he gets a race like he got in the Tenacious Louisiana Stakes or the Cowboy Jones Stakes, when he gets those easy leads, he gets away with it. But I think he's going to get a little pace pressure up front. But I think he has ability also. I'll give him a shot 7-5, but I'm not as confident. I do think the Wine Stewart is very likely winning the spot. But to recap my selection after the eighth from Oaklawn, it is the Oaklawn Mile. We're going to take the one horse, the Wine Stewart. Give kudos to the eight horse Saudi Crown. 1836 Super, 1-8 in the multi race to the 10th event now from Oaklawn, which is the Eclipse Stakes. It's going for $145,000 purse race for 4-year-olds and upwards, which have not won the stakes in 24 or 25. We have a field of 10 horses going 1,200 meters or 6 furlongs in the Eclipse Overnight. Let's take a shot with the 8 horse here, Willow Creek Road, 8653 in the superfecta, 8653 super. Top section 8 horse, Willow Creek Road. This 6-year-old going by Highfall here. McLean Robson trains, gets Esquivel up in the saddle. The horse's most recent outing came in a local stakes race for the Arkansas Breds and their local breeder stakes, 6 furlongs, 2nd of March, where he finished second by 1.5 lengths that day. And again, he sat back early, stalking all around the race course. Navy Seal just had the jump on him and really took off clear, but this horse was gaining well. His races on this track, he only has 3 victors to his name, but he always runs these game up races, especially sprinting. Back here, sprinting, decent numbers. Back against Open Company, I'm going to give him a shot on the ticket. Last 2 races against State Breds weren't bad at all. State Bred Lounge race for 131,000 over the 6th in early February. Finished second by head, and again, he sat back early. He was stupidly wide. He had the lead. He got caught by the winner late, but he again outran his 19-1 odds that day. And then mid September, Delaware 5.5 in a a lounge race, finishing fourth by 9 lengths that day. He just didn't really show up that day from a wide trip. It just wasn't his day to win. Again, his races outside of Oaklawn, he just doesn't really get the good trip, and it just wasn't his day. But if you go through his Oaklawn sprinting races, his form has been very, very good. He had a very good race in that Breeder Stakes here last year, and then they tried him routing at the end of the season last year, where he just didn't want to do. Back to a sprinting trip, training well since the last race, 30-1. I think he could find a trip to the winner's circle, and like I said, he's been up and up. I think the 6 horse here, Ninja Warrior for Ariad Hogan also. It was a winner here going in a lounge race over the 6 back in February, winning by half a length from a wide trip. He really came home clear. Prior to the 6 in a star lounge race, finished second by 4.5 lengths that day, where he's wide, but again, gaining a lot. Another horse that, he's started 16 times, 11 of them have come locally, and he has 5 victors to his name locally all over the sprinting, mostly sprinting trip. He won once here going a route trip quite a few seasons ago, but he's another horse. I think he likes sprinting locally. He's training well. It's coming to this one. Run race fast enough. 6-1. Choose him on the ticket. And even the 5 horse Wendelson for Chris Hartman and Bacon. He placed in the Commodore here a few weeks ago. Had a very nice win here in early February. You know, Training well. Another horse, let's give him a shot, 9-5 on the ticket. But to recap my selection for the 10th now from Oaklawn, the Eclipse going to take the number 8 horse Willow Creek Road. Give kudos to the 6 horse Ninja Warrior and the 5 horse Wendelson, 8653 Super, 8653 Super, 865 in the multi race. There we go. Let's get to the 11th race now from Oaklawn. The 11th race now from Oaklawn. It is the American Pharoah Overnight Stakes. It's going for a purse, $145,000, race for 4-year-olds and upwards. Field of 10 horses going the distance of ground of 1,700 meters or a mile 16th here in the American Pharoah Overnight. Going to take the 7-horse Maycox Bay. I'm going to go 7-3-1-9 in the superfecta, 7-3-1-9 super. Top selection 7-horse Maycox Bay. 4-year-old colt by Spicetown. Michael Stidham trains this one for Godolphin. Ben Curtis gets the mounts. The ran the horse most recently in the Great Through Mine Shafts at Fairgrounds, mile 16th on the 15th of February, where he finished third by 2.25 lengths, and he stalked that day. Hall of Fame really took off clear. Crap, I thought last week in the New Orleans handicap, but this horse just couldn't keep up late. He just got beat by slightly better horses on the day. Back here to an overnight stakes, be forwardly paced. It's going to be a better spot for him to win. He ran 2 back in Louisiana Stakes at the Fairgrounds on the slot, mile 16th in January, where he finished fourth by 3.75 lengths that day. And again, he was just a little bit wide that day, and he was just a little bit wide that day. But he needs something more. But again, he got down the race course okay, and then on debut in Option 50 at Fairgrounds over the mile 16th, one of my 1.25 lengths from a tracking trip, he really took off clear. A very, very strong run. I do think coming here to Oaklawn, with a very, with this trip being a little bit forwardly paced, that's going to really suit him well. Training well, coming into this one, I'm going to even shot on the ticket. Lost my train of thought in the middle of that. Could you tell? I'm going to also use the 3 horse Ben Duke for Johnny V and Belmont. He's only won twice here stateside. He won his second start stateside at Aqueduct nearly a year ago and 1 turn mile by a head going away. Came back to run over the 2 turns mile in the eighth at Aqueduct in the Lowndes race. Won by 4 lengths. Again, he basically won in a very good run. And then a very good place in the Suburban where he got caught late by Groupie, but not a bad race in the feed. Since then, he's just been running some clunkers at times. I don't know if he liked the tight turns of the Charlestown Classic, and then he came back to run at Churchill in a very tough allowance race behind Pipeline, who just really had the jump on him. But then came back to run at Aqueduct again in a very nice allowance race where he nearly caught Law Professor, but Law Professor just outgamed to the wire. And then ran here 2 weeks ago in a lounge race where he placed that day by neck and disarm, where again he just couldn't get there, but he ran his heart out, making a quick turnaround here off some decent runs. I'm going to give him a shot here. I think he has, some serious ability here, and he's one of these quite good, high 90 buyers that could definitely win. 4-1. Let's just give him a shot on the ticket. But to recap my selection for the 11th now from Oaklawn, it's the American Pharoah Stakes. Going to take the number 7 horse Mycox Bay. Give kudos to the 3 horse Ben Duke. 7-3-1-9 Super. 7-3 in the multi race. 12th race now from Oaklawn. It is fantasy stakes. It's a great two event going for a $750,000 purse race for 3-year-old fillies. Field of 10 horses going 1,700 meters or mile 16th here in the fantasy. I'm gonna go take the 1 horse Take Charge of Milady. I'm gonna go 1-5-4-7 in the superfecta, 1-5-4-7 super. Top selection 1 horse Take Charge Milady. This 3-year-old filly by Take Charge Indy. Kenneth McPeak trains. Brian Hernandez Jr. gets the mounts. Can't hear out this here. It's getting hard to speak, so pardon me. But they ran the horse most recently in the Grade 3 Honeybee at Oaklawn on the 16th, 23rd of February, and he finished 10th by 32 1/4 lengths that day. And talk about a trip for this horse. He didn't get out of the gate so clearly. He had a very traffic trouble around the far turn to the point of they just eased him up. Refreshing here, another day, you should find a better trip from where she's drawn today, not having 12 other horses on her outside, only having, a handful of other horses on her outside. I think she's going to be in a much better spot to win than she was last time out in the Honeybee, where she just was not comfortable and had a very troubled trip. She ran terrifically, though, too, back in the Martha Washington locally, mile 16th, 25th of January. Dream trip, winning by 5 3/4 lengths, stalking that day, dueling towards front and towards the end of the race, and then she flew home clear, being quite side home, who was the next start winner in the Honeybee. I thought that was a very good race from the 84 buyer. And then prior to that, in early January with the mud, a mile locally in a main special weight, won by 4 lengths from a tracking trip. She really came home clear. Very, very good race. Even her, race before Christmas here over the mile 16th and that main optional 100, she finished second by 1 1/4 lengths, where she just couldn't get there late. She was coming, but she was just coming a little bit too late. The winner, Anomia, just had the jump on her, was next star winner, but she ran her heart out. She's improving a lot since her last few races. Last time out, up into her last race. Last time out, she just had a very, very troubled trip. One of the most troubled trips you'll see in a while. But she's training well at the fairgrounds since the last race. Refreshing here, getting Hernandez up. I think this horse could find the winner's circle first here today. The 5 horse quad size for John Ortiz and Jose Ortiz going also won the Honeybee here a few weeks ago from a stupidly wide trip. Won it by a length that day. She stalked, she got the lead, and she take home clear. Being 5G home, it's a decent horse. Running today at Goldstream in the Goldstream Park Oaks, but this horse wanted for fun from where she was drawn. The outside posters were ideal in that race. Prior to that, in the Martha Washington, she finished second by 5 1/4 lengths. Where she had traffic that day, but she was again gaining that day. And then the Golden Run at Churchill, she just needs something more, but she got down the race course okay. Race in Saratoga weren't bad at all. Back around 2 turns, training well on the home base here. I'll give her a shot here, 2-1 in the late Big Four. But to recap my selection now for the 12th from Oaklawn, it is the fantasy. Going to take the 1 horse Take Charge Milady. Give kudos to the 5 horse quad side. 1-5-4-7 super. 1-5 in the multi race. Let's get to the 13th event now from from Oaklawn. Featured 13th race from Oaklawn, the meat feature. It is the Arkansas Derby. It's a grade 1 event going for a $1.5 million purse race for 3-year-olds here. Field of 9 horses going 1,800 meters or a mile and eighth here in the Arkansas Derby. We're going to take the 3 horse Publisher as top selection. We're going to go 3, 4, 6, 9 in the superfecta. 3, 4, 6, 9 super, top selection of 3 horse Publisher. This 3-year-old called by American Pharoah. Steve Asmussen trains. Flavian Pratt gets the mount. Blinkers on today for the first time. Most recently, they ran the horse in the Grade 2 Rebel here at Oaklawn Mile 16th on the 23rd of February, where he finished fourth by 4 3/4 lengths that day. Didn't show a lot of forward pace and got squeezed back early on. He moved a little bit late, but Cole Battle just closed up from nowhere to get the job done. Manicat Road ran a decent race running Goldstrom today, placed that day, and Sadman's running back this one today, who got down the race course well that day from basically from quite far behind also. But the source he ran okay. He definitely improved off the Southwest. I think he gets a better poster here today. I think the smaller packed group of horses really suit him well. And I think he can, be forwardly paced and get the job done here today. I think that hopefully with blinkers, they could show some speed with him early on and get a little close to the front end. He ran two back in the Southwest here to Oaklawn, mile 16, 25th of January, where he finished 7 by 7 1/4 lengths that day. And again, not the best beginnings, another very troubled trip, and he just kind of gave up after that. It wasn't his day to win. And then the main special weight over the mile 16th here at Oaklawn in December over the Muddy Good Going. He finished second by 1 1/4 length, Muddy Seal Going. He finished second by 1 1/4 lengths that day, where he just kind of stalked that day. Again, he just kind of yielded before the wire. He just couldn't keep the forwardly momentum that day. And then at Churchill, mile 16th in main special weight back in November, he finished third by 3 lengths there, and he just stalked, and he just, again, he needs something more. He's still main here, but he's run races fast enough to win. He had a very good 92 behind or 3 back in that defeat. In the Southwest, he just was very troubled that day. But in his Rebel, the 86 bar wasn't bad at all. Getting blinkers on, which should show him, which should forwardly pace him. I'm going to give him a shot on the ticket. I think for his best friend's Rocket for Nick Juarez and D-Wayne Lucas could find a trip also. First time in the Lucas barn a few weeks ago over the mile 16th in an optional 200 claimer. He won by a head that day. He stalked all around the race course and he grinded it out to the wire. First division was nearly going to catch him in the back of the pack, but this horse, he grinded it out. A good run. Hopefully being forwardly paced. This horse could really improve off that run. A nice 82 buyer that day. Prior to that, under the care of Brittany Russell in the Mid-Atlantic at Laurel, mile 16th in the slop in Op 6-2, she won by 5 1/4 lengths that day. And again, dueling on the front end. This horse really came home clear. Pace was kind of melting down late, but it was still a very good run. And then over the mile 16th in November at Laurel and Op 6-2, she finished third by 11 1/4 lengths that day. She had a very wide trip. She dueled, and then she just kind of hit the wall late. She just couldn't keep up. I think, since going to the Mid-Atlantic over the longer trip, she really improved a lot. Coming here, drawn well, being thoroughly paced. Wayne Lucas knows how to get a Derby starter. I'm going to give this horse shot here at 20-1 on the ticket. And I also think the 6-horse Sandman can find a trip also for Mark Cassie and Jose Ortiz. A very good place, two back in the Southwest, where she, again, closed up from nowhere after not the best beginnings. It was stupidly wide, but, show potential later in the race. Prior to that, she gained a lot of ground in the Rebel a few weeks ago, where he finished third by 1 3/4 lengths. Very, very wide trip, but he found a good trip that day. Cole Battle just found a better trip than him, but again, he got down the race course okay. He's only won twice, once in option 25 here in December, quite nicely won by 1 1/4 lengths, and once at Saratoga going 7/8, and a very nice and a very nice main special weight. Not a lot of forwardly pace for this horse, but if there's going to be a bit of a pace meltdown, it could be him finding some pieces late. 3-1. Let's give him a shot on the ticket here. And the 9 was Cornucopian for Bob Baffert and John Velasquez. Still main here, one on debut going 6 here in a main special weight in February, quite nicely by 5 1/4 lengths. Going to be asking a lot here from wide trip going a mile and eighth here today, but Bob Baffert can do this. 7-5, it wouldn't surprise me if he wins on the ticket, but I think he'd go a few other ways in this race with horses with more experience. But I think this is going to be a very good Arkansas Derby this year. So to recap my selection for the 13th now from Oaklawn, it is the grade one, $1.5 million Arkansas Derby. We're going to take 3-horse Publisher, give kudos to the 4-horse Best Friends Rocket, and the 6-horse Sandman. 3, 4, 6, 9 super, 3, 4, 6 in the multi-race. So with that being said, good luck to all. Please follow me on Twitter at HorseRacingKid5, and remember to go check out my Gulfstream Florida Derby preview. Good luck, everybody.